This is the Shotgun City Sheriff, the law himself, Clayton Clark.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Kennedy, a.k.a. Mr. Anderson.
This is the Young Titan, Aaron Atlas.
Hey, this is Matt Brannigan.
This is the Warbound Hellhound, Bo Sword.
This is your favorite drunken pro wrestler, a.k.a. the Bud Light Brawler, Dalton Davis.
This is Lizzie Six.
This is Jake Something.
And this is the jaw-jacking, back-cracking, God created all men equal, and then he made me the sequel, Rohit Raju, and you are listening to the Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast. The Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast. Hell yeah.
The Spot Show Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast? Yeah, that's right, I stuttered. Shut up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This is the Spot Show Podcast. We are an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. I, of course, am the Carson Daly of professional wrestling, Dickie Wabash, this lovely man in the brightest baby blue gym shorts that I have ever seen in my entire life. This is the one-legged wonder, Mr. Michael Madrox. Madrox, did you even look in the mirror today when you woke up?
Dude, I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning, just threw on some shit, went downstairs, and got ready for my day.
There you go.
I'm comfortable, I'm lazy, and I love it.
Do you tend to laze around more on recording days because you know it's going to be more of a chill vibe?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I try to get like more relaxed throughout the day, so I come in here with like good energy and positive vibes and stuff, where I'm not like overthinking or overstressing and bringing a negativity to the podcast.
Can you teach me your ways?
Dude, it involves a lot of self-control and a lot of microwave burritos.
Can you teach me your ways?
I got you.
Dude, I'm so neurotic. Like, I think that we talk about it all the time, that we balance each other out so much because you're the more chill, laid back, and I'm the more neurotic control freak.
Yes.
So if both of us become chill and laid back, I feel like nothing would get done.
I think a lot would still get done.
But not in a timely manner like I want it to, and then my neuroses or whatever I think neuroses. I think that's what it is. I think I made that word up. I don't know. I feel like
that's
it's
your
real.
Madrox moment of the week.
Yeah. Sorry. Jay Silva and I might be going to see Childish Gambino, so
that's fine.
Yeah, he and
Dalton Davis might be going to see the Suicide Boys. So
oh no shit.
Yeah,
hell yeah. No, Silva had texted me and I was looking at his text, but anyway, this is the Spot Show Podcast, independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. Let me tell you a little bit about this episode. It is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling and Yoo-Hoo, but you're going to hear a little bit more about them later. Unless you head on over patreon.com/MadBash Studios. You back us at that $5 and above tier. You're going to get this show completely ad-free and at least 24 hours early. That's right, early access ski for the boys and the girls that we have over there on the Patreon account. Shout out to everyone that supports us on Patreon. Even if you do on this thing, the free tier. What? There is a free way to support us on Patreon because we understand it. Sometimes you don't have the extra money that you can give us. That's fine. Go over patreon.com/MadBash Studios. You're still going to get some really cool behind the scenes photos, and you're going to get behind the scenes videos. You're going to get alerts to whenever stuff is going live. Here's the thing. Get that little preview over there. You're going to be seeing it, and it's going to be a little bit enticing for you, hopefully, so that you, if you got the extra money, go ahead and back us. Here's some other ways that you can support us completely free. MadBashStudios.com is going to give you links to all of the podcasting platforms that we are on. Leave us a 5-star written review on your favorite podcasting platform. You can also go on over to youtube.com/MadBashStudios. You can support us there. You can head to the TikTok. You can go to the Instagram account. You can go to the Facebook. Here's the thing about that. We have proven that it pays to support us on multiple platforms Shout out to Brandon, who won the giveaway. We talked about it. Sewer layer parking lot sale. He won those signed SCU figures. And I got a little spoiler ski for you guys. That's not going to be the only giveaway that we do. More entries for the more platforms that you follow us on. What better way? We scratch your back, you scratch ours.
Brother, what giveaway?
There's going to be
you're
more.
You're springing it on me, brother.
I'm not springing shit on you.
We gave a lot of stuff away to our fans.
We always give. I mean, that's what we do.
Paying it forward, man.
We want to grow MadBash with them. We want to help them out because I honestly feel like a bit of a dick being like, oh, you should just only help us. No, like we are symbiotic with our fans. If it was not for our fans, we would not be here.
Not at all, man. What would you do if we weren't doing the podcast and all the other stuff?
Ooh. I probably would have beaten more video games than I have this year.
Getting those 100% completions.
I would be probably back into platinum trophies on PS5. Dude, I'm in the middle of like 3 video games right now. I've been playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth since it came out in March or February, I believe it came out. And I'm still playing that. Then this game, Rise of the Ronin, was on sale on PlayStation 5. Bought that. Don't love it, but I'm still playing it. And then, of course, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door Remaster came out on Switch. I got the guide ski right here.
I
got the guidebook right here. I've never. So
that's the GameCube guide, ain't it?
Yeah, it's the same game.
Yeah.
They just made, this is the original. I may have unlocked a new level of my obsession. I think I want to collect
old
video game guidebooks.
Do you remember the old WWE hardback one?
Yeah.
It came out with like 2007, I believe, or 6.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
But the point that I was getting ready to make here is that Paper Mario, like the first one on the Nintendo 64, is my second favorite video game of all time. I love Paper Mario, and I'm going to make a little bit of a shocking announcement right now. Having replayed The Thousand Year Door, it may edge out Paper Mario.
Really?
But at the same time, Paper Mario holds like so many special fond memories with me. That's the only game that I've beaten in 2 languages.
In 2 languages? You play the Japanese one?
Beat it in English, and then I beat it in Japanese.
Well, I mean, Mario, you don't really need to read to beat it, though.
No, you do, though. This is an RPG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an RPG. So, like, there's battle screens and drop-down menus and stuff. But the thing is, I know the game so well that
you didn't need to read it.
Didn't need to. That would be a fun little thing to do. I may revisit that. I may, Dickie Wabash plays Paper Mario in Japanese.
I'm telling you, dude, we need to bring back the 24-hour game stream one time for MadBash.
I've thought about that. That'd be a little fun one.
With the cast and crew of characters we got now.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really fucking fun.
Hey, look at us talking about content that's out. Let me hit the plugski section of this podcast. Hit a few plugs of what you can see. You can see what we've been up to. Let's start off with the almighty Patreon. As of this going up to the public, for those of you that get it early, you're probably not going to be seeing it, but if this is up for the public, we are going to have one of the craziest vlog videos that we have ever recorded. Shout out to the GOAT, Jeremy Hamilton, for straight up sacrificing himself for the content. We have him doing the world's hottest gummy bear challenge. It is going to be coming up exclusively on the Patreon at the free tier. All you got to do is sign up and you can see Jeremy do this.
The free tier?
Yeah, it's behind the scenes.
I almost went to jail for that, man.
It's behind the scenes, man.
That's true.
Also, the $5 tier. We have got a new show out, and it is called Untitled Wrestling Commentary Show. At the $5 tier, that show is up. You can watch along. Marty Jannetty versus Doink the Clown, 2 out of 3 falls with Mr. Madrox and I. Hell of a match. We've literally got the next one lined up. that we're going to be recording right after we do this and paid show. We're knocking out the content for you guys over on the YouTube channel. It's been a little bit since we've uploaded on the YouTube channel, but the most recent MadBash Wrestling Uncut is up there. We have got Logan Ridge versus Clayton Clark from Ignite Pro Wrestling last month. Really good match. You get to see Clayton Clark drop what is probably the best line that I have ever heard that man say in a match. You are going to hear it in that match.
We're not spilling on it right now.
Not going to tell you what it is. You got to go watch it. It is one of the best things I've ever heard Clayton Clark say. And yeah, that's just Clayton for you, man. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the plug ski section. That's what we've got pumping out right now. We've got all the good stuff. But you know what? I think we make one more little plug right now, Madrox.
One more plug?
I think we make one little plug.
Let them have it.
MadBash Studios is proud to announce that we are launching our second podcast. This is a new show that is coming to MadBash Studios, and it is called Enough of This, spelled ENUFF of this. That's what we're going to call it. It is a wrestling reality show podcast. Basically, what we're going to do is every other week, that's going to be the format. We don't know what day it will be going up yet, but every other week, we are going to be watching. We're starting with season 1 of Tough Enough, and we're going to give our thoughts on the episodes each and every other week. Almost said each and every week, but it's every other week.
I think I got a good day to launch this.
What's that?
July 4th, man.
July 4th.
Yeah.
Why July 4th?
It's the first week of the month. It's a holiday. Everyone's going to be running around in their car. Some free time to listen to a podski, man.
Oh, there we go. Well, tentatively, we'll talk about that one. That may not be a bad idea. But hey, here's the thing, though. Just because it's called Enough of This, it's not going to be just Tough Enough. Once we get done with the first season of Tough Enough, we are going to be going to the Patreon, and we are going to be asking our $10 backers, what show should we do next?
And nothing is off limits as long as it's reality wrestling.
Hey, there's Total Divas.
Miz and Maurice.
Hogan Knows Best.
Holy Foley.
Micro Championship Wrestling, the one that they just, I think, I forget what it's called. It was the one that was on Discovery.
Yep.
And then Hulk Hogan's Micro Championship or whatever. The point is, there are a lot of reality-based wrestling shows. So that's what we're going to do. Every other week, we are going to be having that show roll out for everybody. It's also going to be a bonus for the Patreon. You're also going to be getting that one ad-free and early on the Patreon, just like you do with Spot Show.
A little something for everybody here.
A little something for everyone here. Man, we're launching another show. Can't believe it.
More content, man. More work. Let's
more
do
content,
it.
More content. You love it. You love it. Speaking of content, this is actually going to be me taking the back seat.
Oh, you're taking the back seat on this one?
This is going to be a Michael Madrox episode. Madrox, give them. You're going to be taking over the hosting. Why don't you go ahead and tell them what we're talking about today on Spot Show?
Well, after doing a weekly podcast for so long, topics, they need refreshed.
Yeah.
So I came up with a great idea. Let's discuss finishing moves in the history of professional wrestling.
Love it.
And I got a few little questions for us to discuss here.
Hell yeah.
And,
so, with that being said, why do you think that it is important to talk about the finish, the finishing move?
Because that's how matches are end. Like, the person either by their look, by their music, or by their finisher.
Yeah.
And that's the generalization of professional wrestling. Like, you can look at Hulk Hogan and be like, leg drop.
Stone Cold. Stunner.
The Rock. People's Elbow. You all have
John Cena. AA.
The FU.
FU.
But no, like, everyone's got that one move that they're notably famous for. So we're going to run through some moves, some little backstory on the moves, and do a little wrestling history, if you will.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. So let's start off.
I mean, let's go back to the 70s and the 80s.
Okay.
Like when wrestling started to boom.
Yeah, I'm not very knowledgeable about the 70s, but I can talk
It
80s
all
with
ties
you.
together. But I just want to talk about right now, like comparing and contrasting. Like back then, a leg drop was a finishing move. Now you see like a leg drop in every match.
Yeah.
Like the simplest things back then were enough to knock somebody out. Because when you look back at like the older school wrestling, it was more catch as catch can, where you're trying to wear the guy down just to hit him with that one big striking blow.
Yeah.
And now it's all flippy, 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 destroy, destroy, destroy.
Destroyer, destroyer, destroyer.
With no payoff.
Yeah. It's I know that you said the 70s and the 80s, but I mean, let's talk about, this is going to, this is the 90s, but it still kind of ties into what you're talking about here. Marty Jannetty, in the match that we did for Untitled Wrestling Commentary Show, one of the falls, he went over Doink the Clown with a fist drop from the top rope.
Yeah.
Shit
And
like that.
the fist drop from the top rope, I mean, later on in the 90s was just a warm-up move for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
It wasn't even something special. He would just hit it every match.
He would come off the second with that forearm. It's a modified version of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it, like, going back, it's like crazy, like how moves back then meant something and so much and had such a prestige around them to be a finisher. And then nowadays, it's nothing. It's a setup.
Well, look at Macho Man's elbow drop. Look at Jake the Snake's DDT.
Don't even get me started on the DDT, bro.
Look at Warrior's body or
Gorilla press.
The gorilla press into the slam, like, stuff like that. Like how much more simple than it was back in the day, and like it.
But back in the day, like those simplest moves, you knew they were it. It was over.
Yeah.
They weren't kicking out because everyone protected their finishers back then.
Yeah, there really wasn't the kick out frenzy. The 1, 2, 2.5.
The falsy finish.
Yeah. The falsy, as we in the business call it. That's a very good point. Like, what?
Where did we go wrong?
I don't necessarily know if it's wrong or not. It's just the evolution of the business and like the evolution of the finishing move, because like, you look at like The Rock versus Stone Cold from WrestleMania 19, which is one of my all-time favorite matches. It took 3 rock bottoms to beat Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And I like, that's
but
really...
back then, like, that was the only match where they had that. It wasn't every Mania match. Finisher, 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 finisher.
Yeah, look at Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally just Claymore, curb stomp, Claymore.
Even with Cody Rhodes now, he's got to hit 3 crossroads in a row to put his guy out.
It depends on who it is, though. Because he had to do it with Roman, and then he did it with Logan Paul. But, I mean, yeah. Which, by the way, was that not... Did they... I must have missed something. I thought that was for both belts.
They switched it up on the SmackDown beforehand. Logan Paul's attorney came out and said his title could not be defended.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
It was a big story mishap shit.
Oh, yeah. Because they realized that, oh, fuck, we're about to have Cody as a double champion.
Yeah, and like, what's this going to do for the United States title?
Yeah, no shit. But anyways, yeah, it's the overkill finish that you start, that you're seeing now of like, oh, and like, look at a match, Goldberg versus Lesnar from WrestleMania 35, I believe it was, where it was literally spear, 1, 2, kick out. Oh, picks him up, F5, powders to the outside, spears him on the outside. Oh, the jackhammer, spear, 1, 2, oh, F5, and then even like Brock Lesnar, like that era of Lesnar was definitely the spam finish.
The spam
guy.
finish is still going on, though. Look at the Usos match from this year's WrestleMania. Both their finishers, the super kick. How many damn super kicks were in that match?
Chris Adams is rolling over in his grave. He's dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's rolling over in
He
his
got shot,
grave.
brother.
I got shot, brother. Yeah, it's so weird. Like it's almost as if, like you said, a finishing move now, or no, sorry, back then has become the setup move.
Mm-hmm.
But like Hogan could still come out. I mean, even though he's old and decrepit or
Hit
whatever,
that leg drop and it still
he can
means
hit the leg
something.
drop and it's over. That's where it brings up the conversation of, is the leg drop just weak, or is it the fact that, I'm just going to use him as an example because I kind of want to bring it to the indies as well. You know, Cutler does the leg drop.
Yes.
Is it the fact that a Chris Cutler leg drop can't beat you, but a Hulk Hogan leg drop can?
I'll tell you what it is right now. The earmuff, brother.
Oh, it's gotta be.
That adds 50% power.
Yeah, Cutler's going to have to start doing that. I don't know why I use Cutler as the example. There's like 1,000 better
Everyone
examples.
uses a damn leg drop in their matches.
Yeah.
It's the Hogan thing. It brings it back to the believability and the protection of the move. Like, hardly anyone ever kicked out of the Hogan leg drop. He made it mean something. Just like Jake the Snake. That DDT got hit, you weren't coming back from it. The simplest of a fucking move. You weren't getting up from it. But like now, like, could you imagine being like the first person to go up to Jake the Snake Roberts and be like, hey, you know that finishing move of yours? I'm thinking about using that as just a normal throwaway move in my match. Can I have permission? Like, how do you think Jake the Snake feels about that shit nowadays?
He probably wouldn't care, if you want me to be honest with you, because it's Jake the Snake.
Well, nonetheless, but like, could you imagine?
No, I get what you're saying. It's another one of those, like the lariat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to bring it back to the indies. You know, Clayton throws his lariat. You know, Kendall Fire throws a lariat, and both have their own different
variation of it.
Their own variation of it, you know, and then like, you know, you see someone on a hot tag come in line. But I also want to say right now, there's
a difference between a clothesline and a lariat.
There is a difference between a clothesline and a lariat. There absolutely is a difference between a clothesline and a lariat. A clothesline, you just kind of, a lariat, you swing with it.
Oh yeah, you're taking the head off.
Which brings me to this point. The leg drop, the atomic leg drop, or the Oxe Bomba.
Oxe Bomba.
What one's better?
Oxe Bomba.
Oxe Bomba. Hogan himself has even said that he is a fucking idiot for doing the leg drop because he always talked about his 24-inch pythons. Why did he not do the axe bomber in the
or even
US?
A Polish hammer, man.
Oh, Hogan with a Polish hammer.
Oh yeah, that would have got over.
Yeah, that would have been good. Just those meaty Hulk Hogan fists, just boom.
Brother.
Yeah, brother.
Just imagine that setup, dude. Whip him off, boot. They're feeding up. He hits the fucking ear, hits the ropes, comes off, Polish hammer, 1, 2, 3.
Man, you're really making me think about how the Axe Bomber was not great. I love the Axe Bomber.
I love the Axe Bomber too, but I like Hogan's, like the arms, like that Polish hammer, man, would have been fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Especially like if he used like Chris Masters at the second run when he started using it as a finish.
Yeah.
Out of fucking nowhere, dude.
Hell yeah.
And like, what year would you say like the Mania falsies started originating?
See, so we kind of, behind the curtain a little bit, we kind of pre-talked
the notes.
Yeah, we kind of pre-talked about this. I really remember it being Rock and Austin. Because it would be rock bottom, 1, 2, oh, stunner, 1, 2, oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, oh my God.
But I digress. That was only that one match.
But you're
I'm
talking about
like when the Mania cards, like opening match to main event, went through every fucking finish walk.
See, that's a good one because I don't really know.
It had to be 04, 05.
Why do you say that?
Just because the talent on the roster back then, they all had to get their shit in.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing too, is that even in like 04 or 05, there's a sound argument to be made that the RKO was one of the most protected finishes. And then there for a while, it kind of stopped being, and now it's back to being protected.
I mean, you got to think like Common, like the past 10 years of WrestleMania, there's only one move where it's been hit one time in a match and caused the winner with no falsie.
What's that?
Sheamus and the Bro Kick, Bryan Danielson, 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only match I can think of where there wasn't a falsie after a finish.
You sure about that? There's got to be.
That's
other
just the only
falsies.
one I can think of.
Well, because it's
off
only
my
like
head.
a 17-second match.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because like everyone fucking does it, and it's so bad on the indies.
Yeah.
Everyone
fighting spirit.
Fighting spirit. Oh,
like Leo Rush.
Chop.
Leo Rush taking a fucking sunset powerbomb off of a ladder through a table and then immediately getting up and no-selling it.
Leo Rush is back.
You know what? Can I make a statement right now?
Yeah.
Never been a Leo Rush fan.
Me either.
Don't get it. Do not get it. How many times is someone expected to quit and keep coming back?
Dalton tried to get me on his rap music, and I was like, I can't even get on that.
Yeah, I just don't like Leo Rush. Do not like Leo Rush.
Not at all.
But I don't know, man. That's actually a good question because it's like, I'm sure that if we really broke it down and cared about it more than just we needed for an hour conversation on a podcast, we could probably pinpoint the fulcrum point of like when exactly this all started, like where it can like you bring like look at PWG, like that's falsy after falsy after falsy, like. But here's the other thing too, though. You want to talk about old Ring of Honor and whatnot. One of my favorite cage matches of all time is Jimmy Rave and CM Punk. And the finish of that fucking match is a superplex off the cage onto a pile of chairs.
Something simple and sweet.
Something simple. And you even look back at that era of Ring of Honor, there were falsies, but not like there are now.
You brought up the point. The PWG is when it all went fucking downhill. The Chikara. When Chikara got big.
Chikara was spotty.
Yes.
Yeah. There's definitely a correlation between spot fests and no selling of finishes.
And it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's
like
the
they have
fucking family tree, man.
I haven't thought about Chikara in years.
It used to be entertaining, but like...
Well, Chikara's not around anymore.
No.
Because Quackenbush got canceled, didn't he? Something like that.
I have no idea.
Tell you what was weird about Chikara is like finding out who the ants were.
That blew your mind?
Yeah, because Drew Gulak was Soldier Ant. Fire Ant, I'm pretty sure, was Orange Cassidy. Chuck Taylor was one of the ants. Like, it was like, oh my God, that's
all these guys
insane.
are playing double duty on one show?
It's not even a matter of that they, because I mean, that's to be expected, but it was just like who was who. It's just like, damn.
And like going back to like the overused moves, let's discuss one of the greatest finishers and one of the worst finishers of all time real quick.
Okay.
Just to get it thrown out of there. Best super kick in the industry.
Who throws the best super kick?
Yes.
Oh, it's got to be Shawn Michaels.
You think so?
Sweet Chin Music is the best super kick.
I have to disagree, man.
You're going to say Chris Adams.
I'm disagreeing there too.
Who's the best super kick?
Steven Richards.
Oh, the Stevie kick.
The Stevie kick, I think, looked 100% more times crisp than the Sweet Chin Music.
Yeah.
Because no matter how he hit it, he always made it look like one fluid motion. Like Sean's super kick, like, yes, it's good. Yes, it's phenomenal. But like, just like Stevie, every time he threw it, you knew where his body was going to be, the positioning, and you knew he was making contact with it.
Yeah.
He didn't have to hook it or anything.
Yeah, the Stevie kick was good. So you think it's also one of, you said the worst. Do you think that it's also one of the worst?
I do think it's one of the worst now.
The Stevie kick or the super kick in general?
The super kick in general.
No one could finish with a super kick now.
No.
And it's the Young Bucks. It's not their, I'm not going to say fault, but
it's their fault.
Yeah, they were really
allegedly.
Allegedly. They were really the first one, because of the super kick party.
The overuse of it, man.
Yeah.
And like, it's just so crazy that like Shawn Michaels made a career on this and now it's just a strike.
Yeah.
Like, that move used to take off Mabel's head. Big Daddy Cool dropped to that move, and now you got the Usos out here 36 times in a WrestleMania match, no selling the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Young Bucks against the Death Triangle 105 times in a match.
Yeah.
selling the shit out of it with an explosive sneaker.
But see, that's what makes it more of a spectacle is the way whenever, I'm going to give them that one. Whenever the Young Bucks do something crazy like that, like putting the
thumbtack shoe,
the thumbtack on the sneaker or the exploding sneaker.
The thumbtacks on the sneakers was cool the first couple times.
The first time they ever did it, when they did it to Candice LeRae at PWG, that was dope as fuck.
Yes.
And then when they did the exploding one in AEW, that was cool. But when they brought back the thumbtacks again, they just did it for Anarchy in the Arena. And it was just
it's
like
becoming a go-to.
We've seen it before.
There's no surprise or it's not a gift anymore.
No, it really isn't. This is random and this just popped in my head. Because I don't even know if I know this. What was your finisher?
My finisher?
Yeah.
Was the ESD, Eat Shit and Die.
Okay.
That was the big boot. And then I went to the chokeslam backbreaker.
Oh, I forgot about the chokeslam backbreaker.
I tried to do the reverse chokeslam before, but everyone was afraid to take it from taking a face bump that high, except for Shank Barzini.
Shout out to the Shanker.
Shank's the only one that made it look good and didn't land on his fucking knees and forearms.
I remember it being called Eat Shit and Die, but I couldn't remember what your... So it was you would big boot and then grab them and do it? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. By the way, speaking of big boots, Jason V, shout out to Test.
Yeah.
The best big boot of all time.
Absolutely, man. Dude, back to the finisher things. Like, let's go away from finishers real quick.
I say we get back into them after we hear word from our sponsors.
Already?
This episode is brought to you by Yoo-Hoo, a product of Keurig Dr. Pepper. So here's what I want you to picture right now, right? You're on a long road trip, you're driving along, and you're thinking, man, I could really go for a nice, sweet, refreshing drink. You pull into a gas station, and the first thing you see is Yoo-Hoo. And I gotta tell you, grabbing that Yoo-Hoo, that's going to be the right decision every single time. Yoo-Hoo is available in a variety of flavors, vanilla, strawberry, but here at MadBash, our personal favorite is chocolate. I'm going to tell you about Yoo-Hoo a little bit more, right? We absolutely love this stuff here at MadBash. We cannot get enough of it. And you know what? We're going to sweeten the pot a little bit here thanks to Yoo-Hoo. If you see us at a wrestling show and you buy a MadBash wrestling sticker, you are entitled to one free bottle of Yoo-Hoo on MadBash Studios. Limit one per customer while supplies last. Now, come on, guys. You can't beat that deal with a stick. Again, MadBash would like to thank Yoo-Hoo so much for sponsoring this episode. This episode of the Spot Show podcast is also brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling. Here's the thing about Elite Pro Wrestling, right? You have them to thank for the Spot Show podcast in many different ways. Elite Pro Wrestling gave MadBash Studios our first opportunity when we decided to come back into the wrestling business. So Elite Pro Wrestling is one of the OG backers. We love Elite Pro Wrestling so much. They are putting on incredible shows every single month. You should absolutely be there, whether it be in Odin, Indiana, Washington, Indiana. We would love to see you in the crowd there at Elite Pro Wrestling for every single thing that you need to know about EPW. Head on over to EliteProfessionalWrestling.com. There you are going to find dates, events, links, everything that you need to know about EPW. Thank you so much for being a day one sponsor, EPW. We very much appreciate it. So basically what you just told me right before this break is that the topic of this podcast is talking about finishers. And then you said, but let's get away from the finishers
just
for a
real
little
quick.
bit.
I want to make a side quest,
Just
okay?
real quick. We're going on a side quest here.
Signature moves.
Okay.
Why the hell do people in WWE use signature moves as falsies when they know damn well they have never won a match with one?
To charge up their special meter so that they can get the finisher token.
And the SmackDown video games, that has amplified since then.
I've talked about this before, I think. The most video game ass match I've ever seen in my entire life was Randy Orton versus Edge, that last man standing, or the I Quit, rather, at the COVID Mania.
Oh,
You remember that? Yeah, where fucking it just felt like that they were like, so you know how like there would be these environmental moves that you could do, and you
the
had to have
OMG
your
moments.
You could, yeah, they were trying to set up for an OMG moment every time, but they didn't have their finisher gauge filled up yet.
And somebody went on there and copy and pasted the Create a Superstars move list to include everyone. So,
Yeah.
no, was that the greatest wrestling match
That was the greatest
ever?
wrestling match of all time, or whatever, or the greatest wrestling match ever.
The Create a Wrestler match, as I call it.
Yeah. I mean, that's curtain pulled. I mean, you got to hit your signatures.
I
mean,
but
because it gets the crowd into it. Because why?
But at what point does the crowd go from getting into it to being predictable?
And that's true. That's why Dalton Davis has actually won with the Jaeger bomb.
Yes.
Like
I would consider that his two finishers, the Jaeger bomb and off with your head.
Yeah. And then the pop the top is the signature.
But he's never won the Michinoku driver.
Yeah, but then that's where you start getting into it of where it's like, why would a wrestler even have a moveset? Just go for your finish. You got to have something to build up to it.
Just fucking straight out their super kicks, bro.
Yeah, just
that's my finish now.
Throwing strikes and throwing strikes.
No, but on TV.
So what was your signature then? Like if you had the fucking
Batman chop.
Yeah, you had the
I wasn't trying to win a match with it though.
Yeah. But but to bring the psychology to it, it's that concept that we always talk about on commentary of where the more kickouts that are happening, the more wind that is being used.
I get it, the psychology behind it, but I'm to the point where watching WWE and the same guys they have booked for like 6 years, it's getting too predictable. Switch it up.
I see what you mean.
Throw some new moves in the arsenal.
Yeah.
Like everyone's based off that Hulk Hogan 5 moves to do him shit. Like, advance, guys.
Yeah.
That was 90s. Let's go.
Just go into the creator wrestler section and just go through the...
Yeah, grab a fucking impaler over here.
I am joking about that, by the way, because I find it very pathetic when people do creator wrestler planning of their finishes.
So I play 2K13. Let's go out here and do this.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, 2K. Create a finisher. What's the weirdest one you've ever seen?
Oh, man. I made a 360 Pepsi plunge. I don't remember because I never really fucked around with the creative finisher.
You never watched him on YouTube, like the weird shit,
never
like
did.
the 640 tombstone to the Death Valley driver cutter.
Dude, you want to talk about overuse of shit? There was a clip from, I believe it was a trios match in Ring of Honor. It was Bullet Club. It was the Bucks and AJ, and fucking AJ picked him up for the hollow point. They did it was a Meltzer or a Indie Taker hollow point.
Mm-hmm.
AJ kept control of him, gave him, then they did the fucking Meltzer driver. Then they gave him, they did to Trent Beretta. They gave him back to AJ, double super kick, Styles Clash. And it's like, at that point, what are we even doing?
That's a murder.
It's cool. Yeah. It's cool to see that, but man, it's so
a fine
unnecessary.
line of overkill.
Yeah.
The whole Cody Rhodes triple fucking crossroads to Logan Paul.
It made sense on Roman Reigns because he was
on Roman Reigns.
Yeah, because he was
the juggernaut,
an unbeatable god. No, you were the juggernaut.
I was a juggernaut. No mohawk, no glory, baby.
What was the original question? Oh, about the set. So at that point, you're pretty much just looking at it, and you got to be like, what's the point of even having a move set?
Yeah.
If there's only one move that wins, you never know. You could get a shock victory off of.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see more shocks off moves that you wouldn't think would be finishers.
Yeah.
I would love to see Dalton Davis hit a fucking Michinoku driver and out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Just the look on his face would be fucking astonishing.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. But you want to go through some listing now?
Why not? I love a good list. We've talked about that. My flavor of autism is lists. I love lists.
All right, let's go 4.
4.
Mount Rushmore of finishing moves.
Oh.
You do your 4, I'll do my 4.
Stone Cold Stunner. You know, I'm probably going to catch some shit for this one. I would say Stone Cold Stunner, the One Winged Angel. Are we including tag team moves or are we just okay?
Don't say the pit stop.
No, no. Tag team finishes 3D, and then the 4th and final. I am going with the Pedigree.
The Pedigree.
That's my Mount Rushmore of finishers.
That's a good list, though.
That's a solid list.
That's a solid fucking list. All those moves are protected. All those moves mean something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Stunner not so much anymore since Kevin Owens took it over.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the, hey, can I use your move as a throwaway?
But there again, a Kevin Owens stunner is effective, but not as effective as a Stone Cold Stunner.
Because he's not wearing the knee braces.
That's why.
That's
He's got to be
all
the
it fucking
he's got to be
is,
the he's
dude.
got to be the bionic redneck.
It gotta be the Bionic.
My God.
Do they even have rednecks in Canada, though?
I don't know, but did you see the thing recently where it came out that Missy Hyatt fucked Jim Ross?
No.
Have you seen this?
No.
I've been seeing it on my news feed of where it's like,
What'd she do? Like publish a list?
no, she's claiming that after Jim Ross's wife tragically died, that they dated for a couple of years. And she was like, I rocked his world and he rocked mine.
That's a slobber knocker, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
My Mount Rushmore, I'm going to have to go with the DDT
Oh, yeah.
for Raven and Jake the Snake.
The even flow DDT.
Dude, phenomenal. Protected move. There we go. Back to that again. The F5's got to be on the list.
I almost put the F5 instead of the Pedigree.
It's such a simple bump and move, but like it looks so
I
destructive.
prefer the Saw 5.
Listen here, man. Shout out Bo Sawyer. This one's a weird one, but I actually loved it, and it always looked impactful and strong. Sean O'Hare's Widowmaker.
I agree. I like the Widowmaker. I don't want to speak ill of someone, but it's like everyone talks about how good the Devil's Advocate was and how great. I don't get it.
You didn't get the whole gimmick?
I didn't get it. I don't get why people loved it so much.
See, I wasn't a Devil's Advocate O'Hare fan. I was more of a Sean O'Hare Mark Jindrak Mark.
Yeah.
Just because it was funny to me.
Yeah.
But like, no, like the Widowmaker was so fucking crisp every time he nailed it. And number 1, I would have to go with Kevin Nash's Jackknife Powerbomb.
You know, the Powerbomb is an underappreciated move. It really is. We could spend the next 15, 20 minutes talking about a Powerbomb.
Let's do it.
Because there's so many variations of it. So you pretty much already answered the question. The Jackknife is probably your favorite variation of the Powerbomb.
Yes, because Kevin Nash would just pick him up and throw him like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Keith Lee's Spirit Bomb is pretty good, too.
Yes. We'd be repressed, not to mention fucking Psycho Sid Vicious's Powerbomb.
Oh, my God. That was essentially a jackknife.
On the top of your neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the... Okay. Nash's Powerbomb was the best looking and the most sick looking, but fucking Psycho Sid's was the most dangerous.
Yeah, no shit.
You know who else had a good Powerbomb? Chris Jericho's double Powerbomb back in the day.
Oh my God, Jericho's double Powerbomb was awesome. He would always do it against the cruiserweight guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Spike Dudley.
And smaller guys. Yeah, he would always do it against the smaller guys.
I missed the Jericho double Powerbomb. You should bring that shit back.
Yeah.
Who else
He's
had
done
it?
it recently, I think.
Has he?
I think so. I don't know. I just the Awesome Bomb.
Awesome Bomb, phenomenal.
The Razor's Edge.
I like the Ego's Edge better. I'm a big mark for just fucking throwing the guy to the wind.
Yeah, fair.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. very unsafe worker, that Michael Madrox. He's just going out back chopping people and then
I only back chop motherfuckers in the ring and they pissed me off.
I meant to say Batman chop is what I meant to say, but the ego's
the
edge.
back chop was my slow down move.
Okay, slow down, brother.
Well, listen, you're getting happy feet out there.
Well, yeah, the power bomb. Hey there. How about a power bomb? Pick me. Come on, pick
me.
Pick me. Man, who else had a good power bomb? I mean,
Taker and Kane.
How have we not? The Last Ride? Yeah.
Kane's power bomb always cracked me up though, just the way he did it so fucking fast.
What about the alley oop?
Do you consider that a power bomb though?
That's about you're in a power bomb position.
I mean, just thrown backwards, but
yeah.
That's more of a face buster to me.
How have we not talked about the Batista bomb?
I just said like 45 seconds ago.
Oh, I must have
we
missed
had
it.
to include the Batista bomb.
Yeah. A good old fashioned sit down power bomb.
Brock Lesnar had a good power bomb back in his first run.
Yeah,
too.
he broke Bob Holly's neck.
Yes.
You call that effective?
I told you I'm a piece of shit, brother.
Yeah.
I can't.
You broke my neck, Brock.
When I hear power bomb, like, what do you picture in your head instantly?
That's okay. That's a good question because there's so many variations of a power bomb. I mean, it's got to be just the simple pick them up and then guide down with them.
I picture Sid in the War Games match when he goes for the fucking power bomb in the cage, just
The
too
roof
short
is
and
too
just
low
fucking
and he just-
whacks
oh.
his head.
Yeah.
That's what I picture a power bomb being.
Is that the one finish? I'm getting ready to say probably a very stupid statement, and then because you're probably going to prove me wrong, or someone will, or I'll get a message from Jason V being like, actually, is that one move that has like so many different variations, but it is still is just called a power bomb? I would say a power bomb and a suplex.
Yeah.
They have so many different variations, but it's still the root of it is.
It's all that base movement.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
The only spin up I can think of off the top of my head is like gut wrench, which is just a sideways to the same fucking movement.
Yeah,
so.
Jack Swagger's finish.
Yeah.
The gut wrench power bomb.
We the people, brother.
We the people.
We haven't even discussed like submission finishers.
Yeah, that's another like the best submission finisher of all time is the figure four leg lock.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, because Ric Flair's the fucking best. Do you disagree?
I disagree.
I would secede if you said cattle mutilation, because cattle mutilation's awesome.
It's fine, but it's no crippler crossface.
See, I like the Gargano escape better than I like the crippler crossface.
So you like the yes lock better too?
Yeah, it's the label lock is pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Or like a Rings of Saturn. No, I like the Batista bite better.
I don't remember the Batista bite.
It was the Rings of Saturn, but it was a modified one. He would tuck their arm back and then hook it.
Oh.
Yeah. As opposed to Perry Saturn, who would just hook their arms.
Mm-hmm.
Batista would
kind of
hook
like
the arm
Pac's
back.
version of it.
It's literally Pac's version.
Hell yeah.
Yes, absolutely it is. Because so many people were like, oh, he's using the Rings of Saturn. And they were like, no, he's using the Batista bite.
What's the worst submission move?
That is a good one. I don't know, because they all have their own effectiveness in a certain
just like
way.
The ugliest looking, simplest you couldn't believe somebody would tap out to.
Undertaker's
Triangle lock.
Triangle
Gates
lock.
of Hell.
The Go-Go Plata. Because 9 times out of time, he wouldn't do it right.
9 times out of 9.
Yeah, he wouldn't do it right. He would, yeah. I'll tell you one that, like, I mentioned cattle mutilation. I like cattle mutilation, but it looks bad because you can't sell the facial. You can't see the. That's
you
the
can't
reason.
See anything on
that's
it.
the reason Danielson had to stop using it in WWE.
The tarantula is one of my favorite submissions of all time. Even though it can't be won in a match.
Yeah, the tarantula is awesome. Yeah, submission moves are different because so many people want to do the pass out. Yeah, you're going to pass out from an ankle lock.
That As long as it's on an announce table.
Yeah. Always.
That's the only way to pass out from an ankle lock.
Every move has to be done on an announce table. It increases the power of it.
At some point in time, yes.
Yeah.
Unless you add 2 submission moves together, like Jericho and Benoit hit both their submission finishes at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you like better? And here's the thing a lot of people don't really take into consideration. They are different. Do you prefer the Lion Tamer or the Walls of Jericho?
Lion Tamer.
Lion Tamer.
Hands down. Do that knee in the back of the throat.
Oh, my God.
Vicious.
Right on the back of the neck. Just Clayton Clark has put me in a Lion Tamer before.
Back to it. Do you prefer a Canadian maple leaf or a single leg crab?
Canadian maple leaf.
Absolutely.
Dude, one of my finishes in the backyard.
Was the maple leaf?
It was a maple leaf, but it was an ankle lock as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, smart.
How'd that work out? I'm trying to picture it.
It was not easy, but I made it happen.
We got to get Frank Tank over here so you can demonstrate this for me. I have questions.
Dude, he was like working a fucking sack of laundry.
Here, I'll take my leg off and you can demonstrate.
So the way you would do it, no, and then like, you know, we're spending all this time talking about submissions, but what about like top rope finishers?
I'm not a big fan of top rope finishers.
Me either, because a lot of it is just like flashy.
Yes,
like the Red Arrow or the Phoenix Splash or stuff like that. Like the argument is made is it's like all that rotation like adds to the momentum of it, but you know,
you're just tapping the guy with your back to me.
Yeah.
There is one top rope finisher that looks fucking deadly as shit, and it should not.
The Green Bay Plunge?
No. The Whoopee Cushion by Doink the Clown.
Oh.
That would fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
Just top rope ass to the chest. Like, there's...
yeet.
Yeet, yeet.
I don't know, man, though. I think the greatest top rope move of all time, it's very fucking simple. You got that Superfly Splash.
You think so?
I love you, brother.
I'm going to go the Spiral Tap, brother.
Oh, how could I forget about the Spiral Tap?
That's my top rope move of all time.
Yeah. Did he ever win with that?
I don't think so.
But it was awesome.
Back to the signature shit. No, he won a couple matches with it.
He may have won the TNA title with the Spiral Tap at one point.
He did. I think he won the X Division title of Joe with it as well.
Like right before, it was in that era of right before Hogan and Bischoff came in.
Mm-hmm.
I think AJ won the title with the Spiral Tap. I'm pretty sure.
See, that's like one of the signatures that go out there and you actually win a fucking match with it.
No shit. No
All
shit.
back to basics, brother.
Yep.
Checking my notes here. I think we discussed pretty much everything I had, except for this big question, and this one's going to take some time.
Oh, boy.
Say you're an independent wrestler right now in the indie scenes.
I'm an independent commentator, but...
Say you're a wrestler.
Say I'm a wrestler.
You're doing all these shows.
Dickie Wabash is coming out now.
Notably, probably in the same counties,
Yep.
Same state.
Yep.
How the hell are you going to establish a finish in this day and age while protecting that finishing move?
I mean, you would think that the answer is simple.
You would
win
think so.
with it. Win with it. See, you understand more of the in-ring psychology than I do, so please enlighten me.
That's it. You got to win with it and make sure people don't kick out from it. But everyone's in this fucking indie darling mark phase where they're going out there and hitting that same finish a town over and having someone kick out of it.
Yeah.
Like, can you name anybody on the independent scene right now that has a finish that's protected?
How big of indies are we talking? Like our level?
Like our level.
I don't... Has anyone kicked out of Clayton's Last Train to Nowhere?
That's not really established, though. He's only been using it this past couple months, though.
The Off With Your Head, Dalton,
Off with your head, yeah.
is protected.
But was that protected before the MadBash era, though?
I don't know. I was so disassociated from wrestling. I don't know. That's a good question. Because, like, yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. I don't think that there really is a specific, like, when you say protected finisher, the first one that comes to mind to me is the One-Winged Angel. Who was it that I just saw? Something like Liv Morgan's finish is like one of the most protected finishes. Did you say that on a podcast?
Baron Corbin's.
Baron Corbin's.
The end of days, no one's ever kicked out of it.
Yeah, no one's ever kicked out of the End of Days.
But like
Liv Morgan, something. It was a female wrestler. I think it was Liv Morgan. Like her finish is super protected.
I don't remember.
I don't. And the point is,
But like,
it's a moot point.
is that not like a big deal to like independent wrestlers to have their finish protected anymore?
It should be.
Or is everyone just going out there for that mania pop?
And that's the issue, is that people have got to learn that like not everything is a mania pop. And I think that here's the thing that you got to look at with a lot of independent wrestlers is that a lot of these guys, they obviously don't work the schedule that someone that's signed does.
Mm-hmm.
So these people that are signed and work as much as they do, they get desensitized. So it's like whenever WrestleMania comes, it's big. But then meanwhile, you got these other people that are that don't get the Mania moment, and they only get to work like maybe 2 or 3 times a month. So they're going out there trying to get that adrenaline every time they go out there. And that's where it...
See, you know what made me think of this question, though? How many guys, since we've been back in commentary, have came up to us and been like, hey, you guys are doing my commentary. This is going on YouTube. This is going on IWTV or etc. This is my finish. It's called blank.
I can probably count on one hand.
Exactly.
And most of them are just people that I talk to normally.
Yes. Like, no one does that anymore.
Like, Clayton and Johnny told us about their move being called the Gallows. I'm the one that named the Jaeger Bomb 01 and the Pop the Top. Or no, Dalton came up with Pop the Top. Jay Silva has come up to us and reiterated what names of moves are.
And we just call his moves whatever we want to.
We just
start Sonic references.
And then he's like, oh, there we go. Scorned came up to you and said, hey, our finish is called the Disaster Piece.
Mm-hmm. Kindle Fire, the course line.
Yeah. And then there's just people that I knew. Like I knew that Cecil's finish was the roll of the dice, because that's just what that move's called. It's called the roll of the dice.
Mm-hmm. But no one's out there making it their own, though.
Yeah.
They're not investing in it, which brings back to character development.
Yeah. It always
fucking does it, man.
Always comes back to character development. But then, you talk about the tribute factor of it. The last train to nowhere is the backwards falling face slam used by Jason V.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been passed on to...
Did he ask permission?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
he got that blessing.
Pretty sure he gave him the blessing. So then I'm going to wrap this up with a question to you.
Okay.
And this is an even bigger discussion, because it's not just about finishes. It's about the general topic. How do you feel that when a wrestler tragically passes away, everyone, you can almost guarantee that following weekend, there are going to be hundreds of his move being hit on the indies?
Let's just explain it this way. The month Bray Wyatt died.
Yeah.
I want to say 9 out of 10 matches for every promotion we worked featured Sister Abigail. But the same 2 days earlier, Terry Funk died. Not a single fucking person did a spinning toe hold.
That's what I'm saying. Dickie Wabash's finish was the spinning toe hold. Never won a match with it, but that's what speaking of Dickie Wabash matches, I have got a treat for everyone that I'm going to be dropping on Paid Show. I have got some news about something that is going to make people lose their goddamn minds. But, yeah, I don't even remember what question I asked you. No, I think that it, like, whenever there's a new Marvel movie, there's going to be someone trying to do something based off of the Marvel movie. Wrestling is very ingrained with pop culture.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't fucking know Scott Hall Why are you out there doing the Razor's Edge? Like, it's fine, but like to say that it's your tribute,
get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. But at the same time, we're also hypocrites because you put Let Him In on your hand, and I put TF on my hand, like as just a small tribute to Terry Funk and then a small tribute to Bray
That's
Wyatt.
paying tribute, but like the difference is they went out there the week he died and stole his whole fucking moveset and continue to fucking use it.
It goes back to a joke that I made during the first Women's Royal Rumble was I said Sasha Banks won the drawing to be able to be the one to wear the Wonder Woman gear. Because, like, you know that so many of them wanted to. And, like, you know, it's like, I want Thanos gear. No, I want Thanos gear. Fucking Seth Rollins got to it before we could.
Yeah.
Or, you know, stuff like that. Like, I'm fine with tribute gear with, like, pop culture and stuff. But it's like, whenever, you know, and like.
Pay your tribute, but don't make it your own.
Yes. You can pay.
It's never
going
to be your fucking own.
No,
you're
ever.
out there crab walking, hitting Sister Abigail. We know where that came from.
Yeah, we know exactly where that came from. And then that, like I said, that's just a greater conversation in anything is that it's like there's no originality there. Okay, let me rephrase that. There is originality, but it's few and far between. Like, you know how many people now are going to be trying to do these cryptid posts like Uncle Howdy and are going to be making QR codes?
Mark my fucking words, brother. We are going to see the Lightning Bug Funhouse somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Well, damn, this was a good discussion. But again, I feel like another thing that happened is that we were pretty negative. Let's be fucking positive with it. I mean, like, what do you think is a move that's out there right now that you look at and you're just like, holy shit, I love that?
The stunt puller by Doink the Clown.
But I said right now, like whether it be on our level or on the bigger level or just what's a move in general that you see and then you're just like, fuck yeah.
Brian Cage's gorilla press to the Steiner driver.
Oh, yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like things that look deadly.
Yes. Yeah. Again, I mentioned, this is the third time I've mentioned it, but the one-winged angel, I mean, that's one of the most, like, vicious-looking finishers out there.
I think Ospreay kicked out of it, though.
He probably did. 6
times in one match.
But, like, we could almost go back down this conversation of like, you know, people talk about Omega with the V trigger. It's like, that's his setup. Like that's his home run knockout blow. Like he hits like 70 of them in a match, but it's him like setting up for whatever he can do next. But
it's taking his head off, knocking him out for him.
But I digress. I do really, really like, okay. So I am always going to pop for a destroyer because I was a big TNA fan and Petey Williams and the Canadian Destroyer is the shit. The fact that it's just a simple falsie now, I mean, Adam Cole hits the Panama Sunrise, that's his finish, but like you see it, like you got Virgil on the Indies, he was hitting a Canadian Destroyer. You had Tyler Scott did a Canadian Destroyer in his opening shine. Like it was just funny to me. But like, no, dude,
it goes back to the overkill thing because like now guys are not just doing a Canadian Destroyer going for a pinfall. They're hitting the Canadian Destroyer, popping back up, going into a Canadian Destroyer, popping back up, going into a third one.
Yeah, and that's where, like, I think there needs to be more of a distinction between a setup and a finish. But, like, again, to answer my own question, like, yeah, man, I think the one-winged angel is, like, one of the better finishes that's out there right now. I am also a very big fan of... I'm just going to say it. I like the haluva kick. I'm a big fan of just Sami Zayn just running across and just kicking him in the face.
Simple. You know who's got a good fucking finish that's underrated right now? Buddy Murphy. Murphy's Law.
Oh, I love Murphy's Law.
Oh, man. One of the best finishers of the past 10 years. Hands down.
Black Mass.
Yes.
Throwing the most beautiful black mass you've ever seen. You know? Who do you think, this just popped in my head, who do you think throws the best spear?
Like indie level or on
It's in
national
general.
television? Indie
Because
level.
the spear is very overused.
I'm trying to think who can throw a good spear right now.
I'm going to tell you, I've always been a fan of edges.
I'm gonna go with Rhino.
The gore.
The gore.
Gore. Yeah, the gore is
It
always.
always looked devastating.
Yeah.
I've seen how some of these guys hit spears that looks weak as shit, but the gore, man.
How do you feel about the flipping spear? I hate it.
It reminds me a lot of Marcus Corvon.
The pounce? Dude, the pounce was the shit though, man.
It was, but I'm just saying, like, the whole flipping with it reminded
Yeah.
me so much of the pounce. It's like they morphed those two together.
The pounce was fucking awesome. I loved the pounce.
No one does that shit anymore.
No.
Like, I know you've been trying to wrap it up, but another question here. Shit like the One-Winged Angel, the Canadian Destroyer, Murphy's Law, all this shit looks good and deadly now. Where do you see finishing moves 15 years from now?
Ooh.
Are they actually going to be like fucking finishers, like fatality? Like you're going to have to kill somebody to win the match? and that's
Darby
the end of
Allin
their
coming
career?
out with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And
The most safe setup spot I've ever seen in my fucking life.
I'm going to answer that question by not answering that question and kind of going a different direction with it.
Okay.
I'm not going to focus on just finishes. I'm going to focus on wrestling. We are going to start seeing wrestling reverting back to more simplistic.
You think so?
I believe this. Because at a certain point, we're still going to need the sports entertainment aspect of it with the showmanship.
Yeah.
But we're also going to be like, you know, you're not going to get into a real fight. Forearm, come on, hit me. For like, we're going to start seeing more realism with it, I think. And there's always going to be that pro wrestling sparkle to it. But I guarantee you that we're going to start within 15 years. I'm not saying within 3.
Are you telling me Raw Underground's coming back?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I bet that we're going to start seeing like more
realism with it.
More realism and more simplicity.
I hope so, man. Because just watching shit, I'm like, why do they do that to their body?
No shit. It's all about that bump card too.
Yeah, my bump card's gone.
Well, you would probably die if you bumped right now.
Yeah, let's try it.
No.
Give me your finish.
Good discussion. Enjoyed this.
Did you?
I enjoyed this. Yeah. I'm ready to go into paid ski. I got
big news, brother.
I got big news, man. I got some really good shit that I want to bring up on Paid Show, and it is going to be something that people are going to want to hear. Let's just say that some treasure has been uncovered. Let's just put it that way. But no, this was let us know whether it be on Patreon or on our Facebook page. What's your favorite finish of all time? And for those of you that aren't wrestlers, if you were a wrestler, what would your finishing move be? Let us know. We're going to go ahead and wrap up here. Again, patreon.com/MadBash Studios. That's the best way that you can support us. For those of you that are already supporting us on Patreon at the $5 tier, we're going to be rolling into Paid Show. That's going to be a fun one to listen to. You can find me on Instagram at DW_mischievous_rabbit. Michael Madrox runs the Instagram account for MadBash. You can find him at MadBash Studios on Instagram. MadBashStudios.com, guys, for all of our links. So, yeah, for those of you that are on the Patreon, we will see you on Paid Ski.